always gets Jeff Hardy's moves mixed up. He's like, it's a whisper in the wind. He's just like, that's not the name of it. He's like, well, I made it up 12 years ago, so fuck you. He snapped on Corey Graves one time. He's like, that's the other move. And he's like, yeah, I know. I created it. At least they said that
I
shit.
trained him in my garage.
I fucking hate Michael Cole so much.
He's awesome. He's great.
Oh, man, this is going to be a rough episode for me because I just like the vapors, not the vapes, not the Vape Nation, but the vapors of all this goddamn Icy Hot is just like billowing into my fucking eyes. And it's like I'm going to cry because of the Icy Hot.
I want to know what the key ingredient is in Icy Hot. Because it burns when you put it on. It's got that cooling sensation. But if you get it on a ball, if you get it anywhere near your sack, you're done. Your sack is on fire.
And that's like the one spot I need it to be because I need to get my hips and my thighs. I need to get so close. And I just kind of like, I want to like tie my ball bag off where it's just like put in a Ziploc bag or something. Yeah. Like when you break your foot, you have to put your cast in a bag.
Yep, throw some rubber bands around it.
Yeah, I just want to protect it. Because I know the second I put the shorts on, then the ball's right against that leg and you're like, ah!
And it's so much, for whatever reason, that the chemicals in there affect the ball skin so much worse.
Yeah, I put it on my back. I'm like, yeah, it's a little tingle. Oh, the shoulder? Okay, not too much there. The ball?
I mean, it's
fucking explosion.
If you get like a dot of it on your balls, you're out for the count.
Dave says dip your balls in hot wax first before you apply the Icy Hot.
Good idea.
Hey. It's probably better than
it works.
Put your nuts in a Ziploc bag.
Welcome to Put Your Nuts in a Ziploc Bag, episode 44.
16.
Jesus. Off to a banging start. Putting your nuts in a Ziploc bag and dipping them in hot wax. Yeah, I'm telling you, when I did Taekwondo, my knee was already bad then. And I'd rubbed like the dollar store Icy Hot all over my knee. And there was one time where at first I didn't really know what was going on. I'm like, I got a little itch. And then I'm like, oh, I must have got some of that on my ball. And then it was killing me. Oh, my God.
Good old
it
muscle,
doesn't wash off. You got to just ride it out. It's like pepper spray in the eyes.
Yeah, and you want to like, I'll wash my hands so I can take a piss and my dick won't sting to death. And you've washed your hands and it's still there.
No keys.
He came and it burned my ball bag. Oh, fuck. Well, speaking of that, there's some drama in Haddonfield.
Uh-oh. Is there?
Drama in Haddonfield this week. I'm going to tell you right now. People are like, oh,
you turn my heater off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's very annoying.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the drama. I want to hear it.
But I do want to warn people. Every episode, pretty much from here until October, is when this movie comes out.
I think it's like September 30th or something, isn't it? Or like October 9th. It's not.
It's not on. Okay.
It's not late into the season. It's like we got to get money quickly.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna get it September, October, week 1, week 2, that makes sense. But we're gonna touch upon this movie a lot, especially if it's gonna be this fucking juicy.
Ooh. I don't know anything about this.
We'll start with the not juicy part. Well, I'll ease into the juicy part.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's a new poster, and if you look at your screen, you might see it here in about 45 seconds.
Yep. I've seen this poster. I thought that was fake.
I don't know which one's fake now. Was the thing we looked at? I don't know. I think this one might be legitimate. I'm not sure. Maybe they both are. I'm gonna look at every single one, even the fan-made ones. This one. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into it, Jim.
Is this the drama? The poster?
No.
Okay.
There's more. Let's just ease into it.
Okay.
With this poster.
I'm with you.
With me.
I like this poster.
He just likes drama so much.
You like it? Yeah, I like the wear and tear.
I like the wear and tear.
It maybe is a little too reminiscent of the Rob Zombie mask. Somewhat. But
okay.
But I like it, although I don't know why it has extra wrinkles, like it's a person's face. I'm old now.
I'm so old.
Like it looks like they remolded William Shatner's face now to make a new mask.
Like it doesn't work that way, boys. I don't know about this one. I like the eye hole gimmick from the last poster, which might be real, might be fake. I didn't like from the producers of The Purge. That was stupid. But he just what is he looking so mopey for? He looks sad. I don't want to feel sorry for him. I don't want to feel bad for him. I don't want to feel he's an old man just doing killings. And that's kind of what I'm getting like from this.
I thought you were talking about the overall mask design. But yeah, the pose is odd. He's like looking like it's like Jesus Myers, like I'm here for you. Unless
what if it's this, and it's this exact shot is in the movie, and it's him looking down at Laurie Strode again, because he's killed her for the 17th time, and she's just bleeding. I
killed her 6 times. I killed her in the heart.
And he's just like, well, I finally did it. Now what?
It's like, oh, this is what it's like when you win.
Is there a niece somewhere? Are we doing that? No, it's a different timeline, I guess.
She's got a daughter. Guys. I'm gonna find her.
Do you have a son at a boarding school?
You have a granddaughter.
I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna kill him.
It's just it is a weird pose. It's a weird pose.
So yeah, you don't like you're not feeling the mask design.
I am, but that like weird like tread mark over his eye just reminds me of like the Rob Zombie mask with all the scratches and shit on it.
Yeah, I mean they did say we're going to use the original mask or the mold, whatever, and it does look that, but then they like treated it with a tire.
Mm-hmm. And some stippling on the nose area. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, he's got a little hair lip thing going on. Maybe maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the thing.
He's got a hair lip.
No, that's not the thing. Was it 1978, 79?
78.
You go in the garage, you get out that old mask. You know, it doesn't look the way it is. Maybe some raccoons were, fucking with it. Some owls use it as a nest.
There's a rat shitting in the hair.
You know, most people would upgrade their mask, and he's just like, still the same old. Maybe that's why he looks sad in the poster. He's like, this fucking thing. I should have got a new one.
He found one really quickly in the other movie. He's just like, there's one at the drugstore. I got it.
Give it. Yeah. So that's the mask. Let's get into that.
I like the one from last week better, the poster, by the way.
Yeah, combine these posters. Get rid of from the producers of The Purge. Give me the eye hole thing.
Yeah.
Give me just Halloween at the bottom. They're calling it Halloween, which doesn't make sense because this is a sequel to Halloween, essentially.
Not a reboot. So why would you just call it Halloween again?
You can't do that shit. That doesn't make sense.
They did it.
It's like, we did that remake thing with Tom Cruise, and it works so well. We're just going to make another one, and we're just going to call it Mission Impossible. Oh, you mean Mission Impossible 2? No, we're just going to call it Mission Impossible again.
Fast and the Furious did something like that, right? It was like The Fast and the Furious or something.
Yeah, and then they took they said, no articles,
fast,
new movie.
Furiously
fast. Fucking Dave's in here. Dave's going to fucking bail now. You're talking about fast. I love it. Big Dom. Is that his name?
I don't know.
Big Dominic Vassetti.
You know his last name. Like, I don't know if that's his name. His social security number is.
I know everything there is to know about Big Dom Vassetti.
He loves Coronas.
What's the fucking line?
You can have whatever you want as long as it's Corona.
as long as it's
something
Corona.
Stupid like that.
I have to remember that. Just so whenever I'm in the wild and there's a Corona, I can pull that stupid line.
But he's cool because he plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes. And he gets stoned. Did you ever see that video?
Mm-mm.
Toretto. It was Dom Toretto. What did I say? Vassetti?
Vassetti. Vincenzo.
But no, it was when his Witcher or the Witchmaker, Witch King, Witch Killer, whatever the fuck it was.
The Witcher.
Was coming. was coming out, and he's doing all the podcasts, and he's promoting, and they're like, oh, this is based off your old D&D character, which it was, and that's very cool. It's like, why don't you do like this one shot with us? And they created a class and a race and stuff. They essentially created the character just for this one shot for him to play, which is super neat. And it's on YouTube if you just search Dom Vassetti D&D. And they play it, and it's truncated, so it's only like, I don't think it's like half an hour or something like that, unfortunately. But he either has huge, massive social anxiety like Harrison Ford, or he's blazed out of his fucking mind like Harrison Ford.
Right. I was gonna say that's just describing Harrison Ford again.
So, it's a neat watch. Yeah, he's a D&D guy though.
I'll look it up.
So, drama in Haddonfield. Haddonfield. Supposedly, Jim, they finished filming it, slapping it together. John Carpenter's gonna work on the score and stuff with somebody else. I don't know. He's got his fingerprints on it, and that's very good. Supposedly, they test screened it
already.
It was a test screen. Seems well that's the rub. That's the drama. Early reports are they test screened it, and the test audiences hated the test ending. They did not like the ending. Supposedly. Left the audience disappointed. They just weren't feeling it. And that was the big report coming out this week. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about that on the show. That's going to be like, ooh, it was the gossip. But a day later, fucking John Carpenter just rises from his grave and gets on Twitter and is just like, no, wrong, fake news.
We didn't even start filming it yet.
He denies it's like there's no test screenings happening. This is wrong. And somebody had like a sheet that was just like, it's kind of like the form that you would have at a test screening. Mm-hmm. Like, what did you like? What did you like? It's just like, no, they test screened it, John. And he's like, no, fake news.
No.
So there's like this he said, she said. I mean, he would know. I don't think he would deny it. So aggressively. But
so you think he's telling he believes what he's saying?
I want to believe John Carpenter in here.
I believe that he's telling what he thinks to be true.
They just didn't run it by him. They just did a test screening, and he's just out in the back with Harrison Ford blazing it.
I think this answers our question, right? We wanted to know. He's attached to it as some sort of executive producer or something. How much is he involved? Not very much.
But he tweeted about it. So
this would be great if you guys did that. Let me know if you do a test screening.
So, but say you're John Carpenter, you wake up and you're getting all these texts.
Hold on.
Text, I bet.
Okay, I'm John Carpenter.
All the bones cracking. You get the text, you get the emails, you see the headlines. Test audiences hated the ending. If this is true, that there was no screening, maybe he's got that doubt. Did they do a test screening? Let me get my rotary phone and call up Bloomy. Like, Bloomy, did you guys do a test screen? You did? Okay. I just don't think he would. He would look like a huge asshole if he's wrong about this. So I think he'd at least double check. You
mean if he's wrong, like they did a screening, he didn't know
about there being a test screening in general?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. At times he does. He doesn't defend things really hard a lot in interviews, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, yeah, whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, look, they're blowing the whole thing out of proportion. Danny McBride said, hey, what do you think of that? And I'm like, yeah, that's probably what I do, and now I'm an executive producer.
But everybody's playing like such good team ball with this movie, blowing this guy, blowing that guy. Say they did a test screening and it sucked. But John Carpenter's got to say something. He's got the twitchy fingers. Say that's not the real ending. That was a rough cut at best. We haven't even filmed the real ending yet. You motherfuckers, how about that?
Or you say, yeah, that's why we do test screenings. Like, what's the point of doing a test screening if you're just going to be like, hey, watch my movie? And they're like, the ending was kind of, shut up! The fucking ending's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, well, why did you do a test screening then?
But the reason I think that I'm going with John Carpenter, not because I just want this to be true, but because I don't think they test screen films without the score. I don't think
maybe
they
not.
do
Probably
that.
not like an official test screen. Maybe somebody had seen it, but you're saying they had the form, and that was their proof that they did a test screening. So that doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah,
because it's one thing.
I mean, it was a blank form. It wasn't filled out or anything. Not that matters, because you can just fill it out.
Somebody could fake it. I'm not saying that couldn't be faked, but what I'm saying is
drama.
It's not as if like it's just a terminology mix-up where somebody. They were like, hey, we're not even really done, but why don't you check it out? And it was like a private screening, and then that leaked out, and it got blown into a test screening. But then why it's like, look at this form. Like, you wouldn't be like, hey, Jim, come over, watch this movie. Just fill out this form for me.
Fill it out.
So it's, unfortunately, I don't think it could be that, where it's like, well, no, it wasn't really a test screening. We showed it to some people, but it wasn't really a test screening per se. But
well, because the person was like, here's the form, man. And John Carpenter tweeted, there is a difference between a first cut and a cut you are going to show the public. Nothing is being screened yet. So he doubled down. He doubled down. He said, fake news. No puppet. No puppet.
Yeah, I can't see him at this stage in the game lying about that. That doesn't seem like him. Like, he has a long track record of being pretty, I don't know, he seems pretty legit. He seems pretty convincing and pretty, I don't even know if I'd say, not honest, but like, just like, why would I lie about that? I don't give a fuck.
I just think if it screened and it did poorly, he'd have something better than that. He'd say something like, yeah, Jaws had bad test screenings too. Idiots. Do you know that? You fuckheads.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think he would just double down and saying, it didn't happen. There was no moon landing.
Critics panned the original Halloween when it was first released. That was the actual finished cut.
Mm-hmm.
So I show it to Kurt Russell, and all of a sudden now it's a test screening, and everyone hates the ending. That's just not true.
So we'll see how this one pans out. Because, like, this is like a day-to-day. He said this. They said this. What's going to happen next?
What was the source? What was the source that said there was a test screening, it was bad, here's my proof, it's a piece of paper? Who is supposedly, like, was this on any sort of, was this like, slasher.org blog post.blog? Or is this like from a movie site?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of Twitter tweets being pulled, but I've got it here from horrorfreaknews.com, which
from moviepoopshoot.com,
which, by the way, the article was removed at studio's request.
But they didn't go out of their way and say that they didn't retract anything. They didn't say we were wrong. This didn't happen. They just said, hey, take it down. And they said, okay, we'll take it down. But they didn't say take it down because it's bullshit and print a retraction. I don't even know if you do that on moviepoopshoot.com, if you do retractions, or slasher screen junkie. What is it? What was the site?
I think that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise it's just tweets pulled. Randy Schroeder, everyone knows Randy Schroeder, said, I read briefly that test audiences... I read briefly that test audiences have been unhappy with the ending, and John Carpenter replied, there hasn't even been a first cut, no test screenings yet. And then Waverly Lee says it's screened, and he's got the printout of the thing. This is a real screening card.
He says that?
And this is a real screening card. Also, you're scoring it with Cody and Daniel Davies, which maybe this is information on the card. It's really hard to see the card from this angle.
Oh, maybe he's reading that off the card to prove that it's like a real thing?
Yeah, like it's real, and here's the name drops on the card. And that's when John said, there is a difference between a first cut and a cut you are going to show the public. Nothing is being screened yet. So like I said, a lot of he said, she said. Does the ending suck? Do people not like the ending? Are they going to change the ending because of it? This is all a bunch of shit that we will find out in the future. Because in a year or two when this movie's come and gone, that John Carpenter, he'll be like, yeah, they fucked up the ending. I tried like hell to fix the ending and they weren't having it. They wanted that Blumhouse jump scare at the end and god damn it. And maybe that's what it was. Because the Blumhouse movies, they all, like, it's like Jason Blum walks into the editing booth and it's just like, jump scare. Goodbye. That's how all the movies end. It's almost like it's laughable and cute at this point where you're just like, it's coming.
He's got a jump scare macro. He just like hits
Pazuzu, you got me. Bagul, you got me, you fucker. So maybe they forced that in and they're like, no, you don't do that with a Halloween movie. We don't like this ending. Like maybe it's literally the last half second that they don't like. Not so much the resolution of the story. I don't know, but I'm so excited.
If you had to guess, what do you think it is? Because, okay, so technically, is John Carpenter trying to get off on a technicality? Is the public, that's considered the public, right? When you show a test screening to test audiences, that's considered a public, or is he trying to walk a line there? You know?
No. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like what he said, there's a difference between a first cut and something you're going to show the public. So is he trying to say, like, maybe there was a test screening, but it wasn't really the public, it was these professional screen tester watchers? Yeah,
maybe he's saying that, like, we have a first cut that we show in-house, but nothing for, to bring in people out of the mall and into this fucking side room. You're going to watch Halloween for 2 hours, sit the fuck down. Because, I'm sure they're doing that like hell. They're showing these people over here, these producers. Here's the movie. We don't have the score yet. We don't have a lot of special effects yet. But here's it pretty much strung together. Aren't even sure about a lot of these takes, which we saw with Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. He's like, part-time. And they had that fucking thing. Because remember that in the trailer? He's like, you're a teacher? Part-time. And it's very good. It's very Harrison Ford. And then the movie, he's like, part-time. It's like, I
forgot all about that. I remember it from the trailer, but I forgot how it actually was in the movie because I've only seen it once.
Oh, part-time.
Part-time.
So that's something, like, they're showing trailers of this movie with this scene, and apparently, a couple weeks beforehand, they're just like, this take for that take. So who the fuck knows what's going on? I'm sure this will be clarified. I'm sure Bloomy will set the record straight himself here in a couple days, and I'm just gonna eat up all that gossip, that juicy Halloween gossip. I can't wait to eat it.
We got to be getting close to a teaser trailer, right?
Yep.
Almost May. I remember seeing the teaser to H2O whenever Dirty Work came out. That's when I saw the teaser to H2O in the trailer. In the theater.
I'd say July, August, because the poster has the fucking date, if it's real, October 19th. So, yeah.
Isn't that sad?
To July, August, and then September you hit them with 1, probably 2 full-length trailers.
We have to jump to that immediately. You and I, like, we see this poster, we saw the last poster, and right away we have to say, if these are even real. We don't even know if they're real. And we really have no reason to think they're not real. Except that the internet.
Yeah.
Internet.
I'm a fool when I see official poster for Halloween. I'm just going to assume, like, you can, if you work, because people love Halloween, that's fine. They make their own posters. Awesome. It's very creative. Just don't lie. Just tell me. Let's check out my Halloween poster. I'll let you know. It's pretty cool. So I just assume that when they say it's an official poster and trailer, they do this. Some people do that with trailers. They just edit shit. That it's legit. Yeah, I get lied to on the internet sometimes.
They just put old clips together. You can tell immediately on YouTube when you're like, oh, there's a new Avengers trailer, and you're like, it's got 470,000 dislikes. Like, this is fan made. This is fake.
It's bullshit.
Remember Napster? There used to be fake songs and fake albums on Napster where it would be like a sound-alike band. Like, did you hear the new Metallica song? It's on Napster. It leaked. And you had no way to go verify it. And then you find out it wasn't even like somebody intentionally trying to sound like Metallica. It was just some dummy who was like, "This is Metallica. I'm uploading it to Napster."
I've never heard of it. It kind of sounds like Metallica. It's the new Metallica.
And they're like, "No, it's actually a band called Donkey Cock, and it's not Metallica at all.
They're Swiss."
And now we have to immediately say if this is even the real poster.
Yeah. Next week we'll look at the next fake real poster, and we'll judge its merits. You mentioned Metallica, Jim?
I did.
Got any Metallica-based stories for me?
I sort of do. Torrid, that's Justin, and I played with Blackened on Friday at Bourbon Street. That was the first time that the four of us played at Bourbon Street, I want to say since like 2012 or 2013 or something. Justin came up and played a couple songs at another anniversary show. So it had been a while, but we played four songs together, and it was fun. It was fun getting up there.
Out.
The original lineup, the Four Horsemen.
Oh.
Again. I cut a promo on everybody.
You did? You did cut a promo. You're streaming it live?
Yeah. Sideways.
Live on Facebook? Sideways. Hey, when you're doing that live shit, you're lucky to have it facing the right way.
Yeah, I don't know why Facebook can't just figure that out and go like, well, obviously, yeah, they want it to look not like shit, so they're not going to shoot it up and down. And the problem is then they switched it. The people that were shooting it like no, it's got to be like this. So you can't just like rotate the whole video and like re-upload it, and you can't just like I locked my phone and just put it that way, and then the first time I was watching it, and then someone's like, no, you got to turn it like this. I'm like, well, now what do I do? Now I got to unlock my phone and flip it back. And it was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, you cut up from. I saw you were streaming. Again, I was like, I like this.
I was streaming live.
And then you were like, watch this part at 10 minutes. And I said, all right, I don't know what's going on. Something happened. There's a fight. There's a titty. No fights, no titties. Jim grabs Mike. He's like, hey, they had no idea you were going to do this. I imagine, right?
No.
Because you were really like, no, seriously, Henn, I want to say something real quick. Don't do the next thing. I know you're trying to do the next thing. I want to say a thing. Like you stiff-armed him with the force.
Why? I want to say something to the people.
To the people. I don't get to do this. No. I'm doing 4 songs up here, and you cut the David Schultz promo. I wanted a woman. Last time I was in Bourbon Street, I was looking for a woman, which got a pop, by the way.
Yeah.
We were like, hey, I'm a woman. And
then I turned it on him right away.
Yeah, but I don't see any
a woman. I couldn't find no woman. What is he talking about now?
Yeah, they turned on you real quick. I saw a lot of men that look like women. They're like, fuck this guy. And then you're just like, you just like, all right, I gave him a zinger. Let's hit that next slide.
Hit it, boys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, that was fun. That was a joke for about 4 people, and I was one of those people.
And so for me, I just wanted to. I was like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to see if anyone. There's some wrestling fans here and there, but one of them.
Come on, that's a deep cut.
It's a deep cut, but there used to be a guy that did the lights there that I had no idea didn't do the lights there anymore. He hasn't worked there in years. He's a huge wrestling fan, and he totally would have gotten it. And then I'm like, oh, well, he's not here anymore, and I just cut that promo for him. Okay.
And then you look to the side, and you got Johnny Dent and the boys, and they're probably looking at you like that golfer in Happy Gilmore, where he's just like, no.
That wasn't the weirdest thing I've ever said on stage, though, and it would probably is not even in the top 10 most random, bizarre things that have been said before or after a show.
It's a lot of power to wield. Like, you could have been like, hey, Bourbon Street, yeah, show me them titties. And you probably would have got some, like, don't let me join a band.
MAGA.
I'm going through with bongos. I'm going through with bongos, like, show me them titties. Yeah, got one. Later.
No, I've had to tell people, like, stop. Like, okay, put them back. That's the fourth time. Put them away.
Fold those back up. So that I'm glad you got to rock out. You gonna do any more guest spots with the boys, or is just a
maybe we'll see. It was fun once. Like, I wanted to make sure it was gonna be the original 4 of all of us and everything, and it was a little
fucking Steve. Steve doesn't fucking count. I don't know if there's a Steve.
But he doesn't count.
He was there early on, but he was original member, is all I'm saying. Yeah. He's 1.5.
Yeah, there were those people where they'd get like 6 songs in at rehearsal, and then they'd go back and that guy can't play anymore. He's like, I don't remember the first 4 songs we went over. So they had guys before me, but they never got a gig in until I joined, because these guys couldn't remember more than 4 to 6 songs at a time.
Damn.
That's rough. It was fun. I'd do it again, especially in 10 years, for sure.
Yeah.
For the 20th.
See you then, working that weird side stage they got, huh?
Yeah. They don't do a lot of shows in the back room anymore. I don't know why. It's way better. The side stage is awful. I mean, it's not a bad, like, the stage is not bad, and the design of the stage is not bad, but it's weird. It's like in the front of the building. It's not where you would imagine a stage to be when you go see a band at a place.
You're like, I'm looking for the bathroom. That's a stage.
Like you walk in the main entrance, and to the left, in like all the way to your left, facing out is where that stage is. I don't know why.
They seem to remodel a lot over there. They're always doing shit.
Bars do that pretty frequently.
Because every time I'm there, which is like once every 5 years, there's like a wrestling show or something. Or
They do wrestling. They do MMA.
Jimmy guilts me into going, and I go. I'm like, I've done it. Friend thing required. Goodbye.
I don't think you've ever come to Bourbon, though. You were at House of Blues. You went to a House of Blues, and you went to the one in Schaumburg.
I think I did that one.
That
was great because I just sat in the back.
Yeah, I thought you guys had left.
No.
You're like, no, we were just back here the whole
No, because you even shouted out, you like, something, you name dropped me or something. And I was like, no!
I'm eating food back here.
That's me!
Hit me for the 3!
So good. How's your other musical things going on?
It's going okay. I found some workarounds to some of the problems I was having, which is nice. I didn't really get a chance to fire it up over the weekend because just a weird schedule on the weekend when you're doing the Lyft. And then, so like Friday, I played that show, and I stayed for a few hours, like from before we started playing till after. And then I went out, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to turn on my app. I'm pretty sure I can't get ride requests in the city or anywhere close, because I had it on for like 20 minutes and I got nothing. And then as soon as I get into Indiana, they all pop up. I think there's
some county thing.
Yeah, I think it is like some weird city restriction. Like my home city is Kankakee. What?
Yeah.
So I'll get Illinois rides that are like around my house, and that's it. Like once I get a little bit further north, nothing comes in, which is weird. So anyway, I left, and then I went out and did my Lyft thing. I had a pretty interesting rider. So I mentioned on the last podcast the demon guy. I'm pretty sure I mentioned him. He's like, I
believe so.
Like people that are demons.
Be careful out there. It's the demons.
I picked up a grown man. It was around 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe or a little earlier than that. Pick up this grown man from his brother and his brother's house or something, and he starts crying. He's drunk. He's really drunk, and he's making noises like he's almost gonna throw up. He's like, man, I don't even be crying. Come on, man. But he wouldn't actually throw up, and he's like, man, it's just family problem, man. You think you got someone got your back, and I'm like, oh man, okay. I'm like, I'm gonna be here for this guy. And then here's why he's crying. He's like, man, I bought 2 bottles of Hennessy, man. I brought them over to this party, and then my brother's friend, he drank both of them, And then he tried to leave with his bottle of Hennessy that he brought. Man, that ain't even right. I'm like, this man is in tears about Hennessy. But I'm like, I agree with him. I'm like, yeah, that's not right at all. That's messed up. And your brother had his side. Not me. No, I'm like, I bring beer to a place and they don't even drink beer. I don't take it back with me. You know, like I bring it for me and I'll leave it at their house for the next guest or whatever. You don't bring liquor to someone's house and then drink someone else's liquor and like, well, we didn't tap into this, so I'm going to bring it home. But he was really crying, real tears. And I'm waiting for him to be like, here's what I thought was going to happen. Like, man, you crying in your car, man. Man, I was at my brother's house and our mom just died and, you know, we had a fight. But he right away, he's like, I bought 2 bottles of Hennessy. And I was like, oh my God, this isn't real right now.
Well, I mean, that could still go somewhere. It's like, and then he cracked me over the head with it.
Nope, it did. He's like, and then I said something to his friend about trying to leave with his bottle of Hennessy. And then he got mad at me and I just left. I texted my wife and she said, you don't need to bother with that. Just come home. And then he's like, I got a Porsche. You want to see it? It's in the garage. He's like, man, I'm drunk, man. That's why I call a Lyft. And then I pull up to his house. He's like, I know you're not supposed to drink or drive, but you want to come in for a drink? No, I don't. I gotta go.
That was nice.
It was very nice. But I said, maybe next time. But I gotta hit the road. I gotta keep driving.
Oh.
It was a very nice ride, and I feel for the guy. But that's just not what you expect when someone said. They start crying, and then they talk about family, and you think family's going to be there. I'm like, oh, no, can I handle this right now? And then he's, like, busted up over these bottles of Hennessy.
Shit is expensive.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah, I get it.
I like to think the friend was doing that scam where, like, he knows he doesn't think the other guy's aware. It's like, oh, yeah, we had one of mine and one of yours.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this. And it's like, no, those were both mine, man.
We had one of mine and one of yours, and I only brought one, but I'm taking this one home with me.
Still end up stealing one of yours. What was that tip, though, Jim? Did he give you a good tip?
His tip was don't drink and drive. That was his tip. I did get a tip. I got a $5 tip from someone. They were like, I can't get a DUI because I'm trying to be a police officer. I'm like, yeah, that's not a good way. You don't want to. It's not a good start. So you made the wise decision. And this lady, she waited outside for an hour before she called the Lyft because she didn't want to throw up in my car. I'm like, that's very considerate, but I'm like, you can throw up in here.
That's nice. When that one,
like, I don't encourage
dry
it.
Heaving.
Yeah, he almost did.
Did you like power window down? Like,
no.
Like I hear you doing it.
I just had I got the napkins ready in the bag and
fucking napkins.
Well,
what the fuck you gonna do with a little dabble? Do you?
I mean, if there's pieces,
chunks of fucking Hennessy and pizza on the fucking floor, you're gonna dab it?
No, I'm not gonna dab it. I pick up the pieces with the napkin. Then I'll hose it down. Later. What's the big deal?
Jesus. I pick it up. Get some fucking gloves or something.
Open
I go to McDonald's. Gym. I take their napkins from McDonald's, and then I pick that shit up like a dog in the park.
Do you think this is weird? I've dropped 2 separate riders off to the same McDonald's for the night shift. And when I dropped off the second person, I said, "Oh, I just dropped someone off here last weekend that was working this like late." And they're like, "Oh, wouldn't you be like, oh, who? Because I probably know him." Like they were just like, "That's nice. I don't give a fuck."
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. They don't give a shit.
But that's like a weird coincidence. Like, oh, this exact same McDonald's at this time of night. I dropped someone off here for work.
You want to know what you want? I'll tell you exactly what it is.
They fucked.
No, it's somebody. He's like, I know who that was, and I hate them, and I don't want to talk about that person at all. It's like, oh, I wish they jumped out of your car while you were driving and you backed over them. Oh, you didn't do that, Lyft driver? I'm done with this story. I'm good for you and good for him.
I like people that talk. He hates
that motherfucker. He hates them.
I don't like the riders that don't talk. It's no fun, man. I picked up this one person.
Is that most people? What do you think? What's the split on
I would
that?
say it's like it depends when I'm picking you up. If it's somebody that's going out or coming back from going out, they always talk. If it's somebody that is going to work, they don't say shit. If I'm picking someone up from work, sometimes they talk. And it's usually the younger people, like 18, 19-year-old, and I'm dropping them off at work. They don't say a goddamn word. I dropped this one woman, I don't know, a woman. She could have been a girl. I don't know what the cutoff is. Picked her up, and I always, here's my opening spiel. I'm always like, hey, let me know if you need the heat up or down, or if you want the radio on or off or anything like that, let me know. Didn't even say like yes or no, or like, oh, okay, or no. Most people say like, no, I'm fine, you're good. Or some people are like, hey, yeah, can you turn this up? Or they'll say, yeah, can you turn the heat down? She said nothing. And she just looked down at her phone. But she sat in the front seat, which was weird. Usually the people that don't want to talk to you, they sit like that in the back seat. She sat like that in the front seat. And then it was a long drive. It was like a 25-minute ride from Indiana into Illinois. And she didn't say shit the whole time. And then I'm like, is it this one here? Yeah. And I pull in. All right, have a nice night. Okay, you too. I'm like, that was weird.
Was she a foreign?
I don't think so. Don't get
my
all
girlfriend
big on me like that.
Because my girlfriend does that, and she's
foreign.
Yeah, because we got into an Uber, and I was just like, all right, and it was like one of my first Ubers ever, and I was like, I know the gimmick. I get in, and they drive me to a place. So I get into the back seat like a normal human being, and I look for her, and I'm like, I lost her again, because I lose her all the time. She just wanders, and then I see her getting into the front seat, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And she sat up there, and I was just like, I felt for the driver.
She wasn't foreign. This lady.
Now, have you ever, like, you had somebody sit in the passenger and somebody sit behind you? Would you feel you were about to get fucking mugged? Because that was the layout we had essentially. And I was like, that's a good point. That's never happened. I'll get two people in the back, one in the front, one in the back, but they always sit passenger side. Or sometimes it's full. Or, there's two in the back, one in the front, three in the back, one in the front. But I've never had one in the front, like kitty corner, and the other person's behind me. That would freak me out. I would not be receptive to that. Like, I would keep checking the mirror. Like, what are you trying to pull? Yeah.
I did pick up a foreign guy and brought him. I had to pick him up from this bus stop, but he sat in the back. One of the foreign guys did sit in the front, and another foreign guy sat in the front. But I would say in general, like, most people don't sit in the front whether they're foreign or not. It's just a rare thing. Some people ask. The one lady that said she's like trying to become a cop, she sat in the front because she said she'll throw up in the back because she'll get motion sickness. Like, well, thank you for not throwing up. And I'm like,
just throw up on you.
Like, you don't gotta wait
anyway.
You don't have to wait outside because the bar closed and she waited outside for an hour to call. I'm like, just call, and then if you gotta throw up, we'll just pull over and you can throw up. Like, don't wait outside and like, oh, I want to be considerate. I'm gonna sit out here on the curb and wait for an hour. Like, okay, should be good. Calling a Lyft. It's a little too much.
You tip?
Yes,
tip?
I got a tip.
All right.
That person was appalled that normally people don't tip. That person was really upset about it. I'm like, what can you do?
Sounds like some, more polite people inviting you in to have some Hennessy. Well, not Hennessy.
Maybe.
Out.
I don't know what he had left.
Yeah.
And to see his Porsche. He said, man, I got a Porsche. He said, my kid's got a toy of the car I actually have. And I'm just like, wow, that's never happened to me. I've never had a toy car and then actually owned that car in real life.
I have a little Ford Focus.
So. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to having a brand new fucking set of stories when I see you in 2 days. I think it's my favorite part of you doing this is just the stories are never ending.
That's
even
my
the
favorite
mundane
part too.
ones. The mundane ones. You're like, this guy, he smells like shit. I'm like, love it.
It's fun.
Love those.
It's good ammunition, and it's good story. It's good like water cooler work talk too. Because someone will ask, "Hey, did you pick up any?" Yeah, I did.
Which one do you want?
Wait.
You want the foreign guy? You want the guy that was crying, or the cop? Oh man!
I think it was slow because it was 420. I feel like that's more of a stay-home holiday.
Yeah, that's more in. But yeah, you know who got a lot of business? Grubhub.
Oh yeah.
And the places that will go to McDonald's for you and shit.
Yeah, they don't. They do like Uber Eats.
Uber Eats.
But I don't think Lyft has a version of that. But
come on, Lyft.
I could totally just like fake it. And just like, hey, you want me to pick you up some food? You let me know. Pick you up.
Wait. You see smoke emitting from somebody's window, and you just, hey, you want some Taco Bell? I'll go get it. That was freaking. What the? I don't see where that would ever happen, but I love the world where it does.
There were
just
4 people that got pulled over in Crown Point, that area we drive through that I told you about. 4 people. I'm parked in the middle of these 2 streets, and like this guy, pulled over. This guy pulled over. I'm like, hey, I'm guessing you guys live close. So
you're just like throwing your business.
Probably worth $8 to not get a DUI and lose your license. And people drive like goddamn idiots around there. These people are going like 45 down these side streets. It was nuts.
I hate going that way. When we drive down there, I get very scared.
As you should. I finished my 40 note cards, though.
Good. Keep going.
I'm going to keep cracking at that. And then I got to organize them, see what's missing, see where I fucked up, see what I got to add and subtract. And then,
you're going to have so many because you just have new stories every week, or you're like, I want to have a guy that cries about Hennessy.
I'm just scratching it out. Like
you're going to have a couple characters who are they're so thick with subplots. It's like, well, he's an ex-Marine and he loves Hennessy. Can't handle it. Yeah, he's everything. He's just bursting with character.
Maybe it should be a series instead, like Taxi Cab Confessions. Man, I want 2 bottles of Hennessy. He kept calling it Henn. I had 2 bottles of Henn. Man.
Oh, that would have took me a while.
No, I knew right away what he meant.
Henn.
And then he had a bottle of Henn. And then
that's when
he drank my Henn. And then he tried to leave with his bottle of Henn. He was like,
he said tried. He's like, well, I shot him. That's why he's crying. I'm going to say goodbye.
I shot him in the heart. I shot him 6 times.
For each glass of Henn. I went and saw some movies this past weekend.
What did you see?
I saw
Amy Schumer.
I didn't see Amy Schumer's "I Feel Pretty,"
but I did see it. It's only 3 minutes.
I did. Yeah, I saw a group of white ladies walking in, and I was just like, "They feel pretty. They're going to feel pretty." Then they went and saw Tyler Perry's Acrimony, and I was like, way off on that one. I saw A Quiet Place, and I saw Super Troopers 2.
Oh yes, came out on 420, right?
I didn't see it on 420. I saw Super Troopers 2 the next day. Real quick though, the budget's around 14-15 million, and it's going to make 16 million this weekend. So already doing pretty good there. So I'm happy for the Broken Lizard guys, because I like their brand of comedy. So I'm happy that the movie is doing well. The movie, did you like Super Troopers?
Yeah, I did. I've seen it. It's the one I've watched the most too out of their movies.
Yeah. Then you'll like Super Troopers 2.
Good.
I mean, they don't rehash too much stuff. There's a little fan service here and there, but it's not the same jokes. Mm-hmm. It's the same like storylines. It's like a different skin. Mm-hmm. It's like, we'll make them Mounties. They're fighting Mounties this time in Canada. It's like, fine, that's the gimmick. And it's fine. It's funny. The jokes are pretty good. There's full frontal male nudity, and I was like, yeah, give me some of that.
Little helmet. Little helmet to helmet.
Yeah. Some people were shitting on it. They were like, because it didn't reinvent comedy. They're like, it's a 2000s comedy in 2018. I was like, yeah, it's funny, right? Go feel pretty, you piece of shit. The fuck do you want? I didn't really. I guess it felt dated to some people. I don't think so.
Dated how? Like it.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. That argument doesn't make.
Like, did everyone have frosted tips?
Yeah, they had that Michael Cole.
Limp Bizkit was playing.
I mean, there were bare naked ladies jokes, but that was more at the expense of the Canadians.
Oh yeah, as it should be.
But
how was Will Sasso?
Will Sasso is, I think, probably the worst part. Because he's the physical comedy he does is very good. But he's a French Canadian Mountie, and he said, you know what I think is funny? Just a real thick French Canadian accent. I'll just really ham up that French accent. And it's too much. It's too much. The other two Canadian Mounties are fucking hilarious. They're very good. Will Sasso a little bit much. Although the outtakes after the credits and they're showing outtakes, the Will Sasso ones are the best. Because like to get into his French accent, he would go ugh, like before everything, and the fucking Mounties next to him, like they have to hear this every time. So Will Sasso will go ugh, and they would like.
I would be able to handle that.
It's really good stuff. Yeah, it's fun. It's a nice, fun little movie. They're trying to solve somebody's doing bad drug things in this Canadian town. The drug humor is there. It's not all marijuana based at all. It's a lot of pills, things like that. The one guy gets addicted to like female hormone pills, and it's a fun little subplots with the drug use and romantic thing, of course, just like in the first one. Ursula does not get a lot of screen time. She gets one scene.
That's unfortunate,
but it's good. It's not doing great with Rotten Tomatoes, but the first one didn't do good with Rotten Tomatoes either. That still has like a 35% from critics. This has 35%.
Hey, they tied.
72 from audience. So people seem to enjoy it. Everyone's there. Farva's there, being an asshole. All the people, all the hits. It's a good time. Go check it out.
I would like to. I don't know who I'd get to go with me.
Gotta get that the movie pass. You have movie pass?
I'm still. Do you have yours? You got it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I finally got it.
Yours finally came.
There's a long wait, but I finally got it. I also saw A Quiet Place. Do you know about this one? Have you heard about this one?
Tell me about it. Let's hear about it.
That's the I was just genuinely asking, but that's the Don't Be Loud or the Monsters Will Get You.
Oh yes, I saw the trailers for that in front of Phantom Thread. That
currently has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think it's 95% good.
Someone can afford those good reviews.
I'll probably go with the audience score, which is 85%, and that's probably more about where I'd say it. It's good. Good characters, good story, tension. Be quiet. Somebody did a loud thing, and they're like, "Oh, Jesus, God damn it, Meredith!" The fuck.
They can't even yell about it though.
Yeah. There's actually one scene with the teenage girl gets all moody, and she goes to her room. She's like, "Mother," pretending to slam shit, and she can't. It's kind of cute. But yeah, there's a lot of like, oh, don't knock that thing over. It's on the edge of the table, and if you knock it over, the monster's going to come. And they show the monsters. The monsters will come fuck your world up, which is cool. They do that right away. When the movie started, I was wondering, are they going to show the monsters? Yeah, they set up their world very well in the opening scene. They lose a member of their party because they were loud. And yeah, I was like, yeah, that was all right. I know the rule. I know what they look like. I know everything that's going on. This is a good 7-minute opening. Let's go. And it did that.
Is it like a flashback at the beginning, or does it build toward this existence? Is it like 20 minutes in, are they like 7 years later? No,
it starts like 2-3 months since these monsters have started doing their thing. Then they lose a member of their party, and then it's like a year later.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's I don't know if you saw in the trailer.
So you don't have to like watch them figure out like, oh, it's sound.
Oh no, we get yeah.
I've seen the trailer, yes.
But when the lady's pregnant, so the whole time you're like, well, that's gonna be loud, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's gonna be loud. The baby's gonna be loud, and you can see him try to figure out how they're gonna do this, in a quiet way. but it doesn't really work out how they want.
I can't imagine it would.
Yeah. It's good. The only issue that I have with it, and it's not a deal breaker or anything, but a lot of people, and I guess I'm one of them, they solve the puzzle at the end. They like, we know how to defeat them. And I'm just like, yeah, military didn't get that one like 2 minutes into this problem. That it was very signs like water's what defeats them. It's like,
why did they come to Earth? You fucking idiots.
Yeah, it's just like, why it shouldn't have taken this long.
It rains here. Water's gonna. If you stay here long enough, it's going to fall on your head.
What I want to see that movie where it's signs but it rains. It's like it's in Seattle.
Like as soon as they get there, they're like, God damn it!
They get out of the ship. They're like, all right, let's take it. What the fuck?
Can Bill stop
now?
picking the planets, please?
Oh, we said Mexico.
Bill just really wanted that torta. He's like, oh. He's like, let me grab this torta. That's why we're here. God damn it, Bill, but there's water. He's like, but there's tortas.
The fucking... I've got to cross this building. Tortas.
Bill, we got to go. Let me grab this torta really quick.
So yeah, good movies. I was glad to finally use my movie pass a bit. It's been a couple of weeks since I got to the movies, and fucking Avengers this weekend.
I know.
I'm starting to get to some of the good movies. I still need to see Ready Player One. I'd like to see that still. But yeah,
well, you can.
I can. You still haven't seen Black Panther or whatever. And
no, I have seen Black Panther.
Okay.
I've seen it.
It's good.
And I like it.
It's good. It's a good movie.
But Marvel keeps doing it. They keep making movies that are good. And it's like, where's this one? I don't know. There's like 20 of them that I'm like, these are all pretty good. Why do I got to rank them? Why you got to make it hard for me?
Yeah, I see the trailer for Infinity War 1. Is that what it's just called?
I don't know. I don't know if they're doing 1 and 2 anymore. Are they?
Oh my god! They're just subtitling them.
I thought I heard that they're not. I don't know. Maybe
Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet and whatever they have to do. I see the trailer for it, and I'm just like, all right, who's this again? Who's alive? What are they doing? Ron Perlman looking guys in it. That's cool. It's got the thing. And they're going to fight him. I don't give a shit. Oh, okay, Star-Lord's there. All right, back in. Tony Stark, they share a scene together. I like that. That's going to be a charm factory. Otherwise, it's going to be bloated.
I think they killed their momentum with the second Avengers. Because they built toward the first one. They built toward that with all the other movies. And then the second one, they didn't really build toward that.
No.
And
here's
that
Howard
villain
the Duck, though.
Came and went, and then that didn't really help set up what's about to happen too much, really. And they sort of teased Thanos at the end of the first Avengers, and you're like, God damn, it took you 6 years to get to this guy?
Yeah, this is America. We don't have the patience for this. I don't. I really don't care. And he looks different from that 6-year, post-credit scene.
Right. Oh, yeah,
that rubs me the wrong way for some reason. I'll see it 3-4 weeks after it comes out. But I don't.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to see it opening weekend. It's just not going to work out. And I'm excited that these cool characters I like are in it, but I can't imagine this working better than the first Avengers in terms of like screen time and tying everybody together. Because now it's like, okay, now you've got the Avengers. They're all in it. They're already tied together. And now you're tying in groups of people to this. I can't... What is it going to be, like 6 minutes of Wakanda and like 4 minutes of Spider-Man? Like, how are you going to work it all out?
Yeah, it had to have been a fucking mess to write and produce that. Like, everyone's got to get their shit in. Good luck. Good luck with that. I want to look at the cast. I just want to see everyone that's in it.
Way too many people.
Oh, see, then right away. It's
Paul Rudd.
It's like, thank you, but we don't need you, Scarlet Witch. you were good in those movies, but Nebula, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Black Widow, Steve Rogers, Thor, Thanos, Bucky. Bucky's gonna be like, hey, remember my subplots? No, we don't. Can we get a refresher?
Always
Laura
a good sign.
Barton, Mantis. I don't know what that one is. Gamora. So that's some Guardians. Tony Stark, Loki, Star-Lord, Doctor Strange. Okay.
He's got to be in it. Unfortunately, even though we didn't really like the movie.
Idris Elba's guy from Thor.
Yep.
Vision's in it. Drax, Hawkeye, Ant-Man. See, some of these motherfuckers just need to stand there and be like, go get them. Go get them.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really an Avengers movie. You know, it's like all of them. Which, what they're trying to pull off is what they did in the comics, which is like, it wasn't just the Avengers against Thanos. It was like everyone had to fight Thanos. This isn't a comic book, though. It's a movie. So I think it's easier to make that work in a comic book format. Because you're like, oh, how many issues can we stretch this out and get people to buy these comics? In this, you're like, how do we fit this into a 2-hour movie? Oh, let's be honest, 2.5. There's no way it's 2.
Hulk, War Machine, Falcon. Oh, they are doing it. I don't want to spoil that. That's going to be cute, though. Somebody named Tiny. That's but a lot of people. And now, how long is this movie going to be?
2 hours and 34 minutes.
2 hours 29.
That's close.
So 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 is.
5.
I'm surprised it's
scenes.
not more. I'm honestly surprised it's not 2:40, close to 3. Yep. That's Avengers: Infinity War.
You had something to do in the first Avengers as a film. Like you had to, you were setting up these pieces. Now you got to get these people together. These people that most of them don't know each other. They got to come together and beat the bad guy. But what were you setting up in 2, and like what are you setting up in this one? Like giant, like this group of 5 people and this group of 10 people and this group of 8 people.
Well, 2 set up Civil War. Because they're like, Tony.
Oh, right. Like, Tony, you killed everybody.
You ass.
You dropped a city on a city.
So before we got on the podcast, we've been watching the NBA playoffs, and we were watching the Rockets and the T-Wolves.
Yep. How bad is that
Timberwolves
right now?
Here. It's real bad.
Okay. James Harden woke up. He's like, oh,
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Houston, there's 9 minutes left in the game. Houston, 106. Minnesota,
90.
75.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 31 points.
They were losing by 1 point when I came down here.
Yeah, he found that stroke. And Reggie Rose just can't carry the Wolves, it seems.
That's his brother.
All right, plugs. Is it his brother? I was like, it sounds familiar. Is that the son? Because I know he's like, here's my baby. And he's fucking
my knees can't hurt because I got a baby. I want to go to his graduation. I can't if my knees hurt.
Take him.
No, yeah, Reggie's his older brother.
Yeah.
I don't really have plugs. Man, I got all my T-shirt making stuff in the mail. So I'm going to be cranking out some T-shirts this weekend, testing out some designs. I'll have them. Hopefully I have one I can put up on the next episode we do. You can see it. It's a wrestling-themed shirt, maybe, with a caterpillar on it or a mustache. It's your choice.
Oh.
I'm still recording music, and I'm still writing this screenplay.
We're not doing the that Bubba Sparks thing, huh?
We could. I don't see why not.
Gotta bring Bubba back. Gotta bring that
I
country
found
rap back.
you.
What happened with that project with the YouTube thing with that other person?
That's still happening. They're piecing the equipment together. That type of thing. You know, like capture cards.
Stealing? Oh, they're like, we're piecing it together.
Yeah.
Cool. That's very good. Yeah, I don't have any plugs here. I look forward to seeing these shirts. Next week, let me. You can either have them physically, or we can do the thing.
We can do both. I'll have one physically. If I have one to show you a picture of, I'll have one physically.
Nice. So we'll do some of that next week. And that's going to do it for episode 16. Thanks for listening, watching. I'm Thanos.
I'm also Thanos, but the older one from the first movie, who looks completely different. He just does this.
And then he's like, gotta get this torta.